Nick, Magic's my Discord and gamer tag that I run with on any given night, any given day. Basically, the reason I'm up on stage today, we want to set a little bit different tone. Obviously, you've got your software development and gaming development that Get Into Games is all about. What we wanted to do was give you a little bit more of a demo of the custom PC that most of these developers and things developer guys are using to design these games and create these games and code these games and making sure they've got the right specifications and all that sort of stuff, because whilst the development's a big part of the game development, the PC itself is a huge part of it. So what I sort of want to, the agenda for my conversation is I sort of want to run you through how we get to a customised PC build from the very initial thought process right through to the build and its complete display as such. So in order for us to talk about the build side, I need to sort of go into some of the details around Plus Gaming and how we were formed and things like that.
Is it click away?
Got that clicker. Yeah, more or less getting 0. Perfect. We'll start with how we started. So basically, Plus Gaming was started when a bunch of us guys, as you know, we're Plus IT as well, which has always been predominantly about working with businesses, supporting their environments and keeping the upkeep of their environment, so they don't have to actually worry about the burden of IT. Plus Gaming was formed when we realised we had so much talent in our business itself, but we weren't utilising it. Everybody loved to game, everybody loved to create, everyone loved to build, but we didn't utilise it. So what we did was we formed Plus Gaming. So what? Sorry, 2 seconds. Oh, so why did we start? Basically, is we started because we found the problem in the market was people wanted to do gaming PCs. People wanted to be able to run Fortnite. They wanted to be able to run Discord. They wanted to be able to run Call of Duty. The reality was they didn't know how to run that. They all had these PCs and they wondered why frames were lapsing, why their GPUs were running at full capacity, why they couldn't run multiple applications. We decided to build a Plus Gaming to be able to help educate and help you get across that hurdle from whether you're a professional gamer to whether you're just starting out, which we see a lot. Or mums and dads, a big one, who go, oh, my child's bought this list in, but I don't actually know if it's going to do what we need to do. Or it's $8,000 build, but I only want to put $2,000 into it. So there's a lot of different workings to it. Where are we? We're located at 112 Dalton Street South, so just up the road. You're welcome to come in any time you like. We've got gaming PCs on display. We have racing simulators. We have flight simulators. We've got just general computers. Happy for you to come in, have a talk about gaming. Our guys love talking about gaming. They'll talk for hours on gaming. So feel free to pop in with mums and dads, or just by yourselves after school even, and just have a look at what we've got to offer. What gets us excited? Games, and more games. That's what all our guys love to do on any given day. But what also gets us more excited is when someone brings a concept to us, or they bring an idea, or they're wanting to get into a gaming PC, and we can make that dream come true. There is nothing better than when these guys come in, they pull off the cover over the gaming PCs that we've created, and they see the end result. Like, there's nothing better, and their eyes light up. What we believe in the gaming gods. We believe that everyone should have a safe space that they can come in and talk about gaming. They can come in and talk about their PCs. Never actually stop and think that oh, I'm too worried to go on, I don't understand why my game doesn't work, I don't understand why this, like, so many people are intimidated by it. We welcome the conversation. You can come in and just talk to us for an hour on, oh, my Fortnite doesn't run really well, but my mate's run's fantastic. That's what we're there to do. We're there to help you go, well, maybe you can change some settings, maybe we can look at a graphics card, maybe we can do a vast range of different things. Just the next one, what we do, we got that. The question really should be, what don't we do? We push the limits of gaming and art creation in one. So we try and take from, what most of our guys do is, we want it to be that, we want to move it from where your gaming PC was always under your desk, we want it on top of your desk with your monitors under your desk. That's our goal. Not really. What we want to do is we want to create not only the PC that everybody wants to use, but something that actually looks really cool on your desk. Like, we've had guys come in who are now streamers, they, as you've probably watched a bit of Twitch and things like that, you always see someone's PC in the background. You always see all these bright RGB lights and great colours and things like that. That's on purpose. They don't sort of do it because, oh yeah, great, it'll be a nice showpiece at the back. They do it because they, well, one, they're sponsored by them or something like that, but it also adds a great visual to the room and to the atmosphere. That's our goal. That's what we want to do. That's what we create, and that's what we build, and that's what we'll sort of start to talk about very shortly. The crew. I just wanted to touch on the crew briefly before we get into all our other chats. So our crew at Plus Gaming is made up of a bunch of different personalities and different skills. So we have the guys that are full visual, art, creative, can see anything and make anything look great guys. That's not me. But we've also got the guys that have the ability to be able to tell you the technical skills that can talk you through the gaming components, what'll work with this, what'll work with the other, you know, whether it's an AMD CPU or an Intel CPU, will it work with this board, won't it, will this GPU work with this older motherboard, etc. That's what their unique skills are. Then we've got the full-blown nerds. The full-blown nerds are all in a league of their own that can tell you how many CUDA cores are in a GPU dating back to 1990. That's what they love to do and love to talk, the full nerd spec speech. Why is the crew important? Because everyone's got so many unique elements in what they do, it helps us to build these custom gaming PCs that are visually appealing, that have performance, that have status, that can literally do anything that you want it to do, as well as creating it from a mini ITX case to a full ATX case, and being able to do literally play any game or code any program, or even architecture, which is what a lot of the PCs do as well, because as you know, you need pretty high performance for that as well. Get the next one. All right, so now I want to cover off our build process. So our build process, before I get into what's under the black cloth, I want to step you through the process that we go through to be able to create a gaming PC, and how we work all elements in so that we can actually then deliver on a performance, these aesthetics, and everything in between. So we basically have three parts to our master goal. I'll grab a click. Thanks. We have the concept creator. The concept creator has the hardest and easiest job. The reality of the concept creator is they have the initial thought process. So whether it's a client coming in and going, hey, look, I want to build a PC that's full comic or full Fortnite spec, or they may just want a nice stealth build that goes under the desk that I want no RGB, which we've done, and I want it to be an absolute silent assassin. Those guys there, they come up with our initial concept. They go, okay, we need a small case, a big case. It needs to be wrapped, it needs to have RGB, it needs to be green, blue, pink, orange, red, yellow. that's what their goal is. They give us the blueprint of how the PC is going to look and how it's going to fit the space that it's going into. We've then got the tech designer. Now, the tech designer is the nerd status, as we call it. Their role is to take the blueprint of what has been created by the creators, and they get to filter through all the hardware lists in the world to find what will fit that build. Now, everybody thinks, yep, we'll bang a motherboard in, GPU, CPU, RAM, hard drive, power supply, bang, it's done. Ours is a little bit different. So, because we like aesthetics, we like to match and fit. We don't like, you know, a motherboard this big and a box this big where you've got all these gaps and things around it. We like to create a PC that has a perfect fit for everybody and a PC that's going to last people for quite some time. So we build all our, when we do our PCs and our tech designer does them, they need to take into consideration, you know, airflow of the room, the humidity of the room, how hard this PC is going to run. You know, who here doesn't turn off their PC? Who just leaves it run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? We've got to take into consideration that, like, you know, thermal paste, how long will thermal paste last before we're going to change that? There's all those elements that we try to capture in the initial discussion so that we can build a PC that will last 5, 6 years. And they will actually be superseded by the next lot of technology that comes out. Then we've got the build team. Now, the build team is where the actual fun begins. So the build team comes in, they have the ability then to put the concept, the original concept, the designer's equipment, all into a box. Now, you might think that's as easy as going, yep, cool, we've got the case, screw it all in, put it all together, that's job done. It's never that easy. What we like and what we try to master is we want clean cables, we want things that are perfectly thermal pasted. We want to make sure that all our parts are quality and tested. We stress test every PC before it goes out. We like to make sure that when it gets to the end user, or whether it goes on show or where it might go, it's perfect. We don't want you to come back a week later and go, oh look, it's overheating, I can't get this to work, or this is failing. We want it to be perfect. We want it to hit your desk, you play whatever game you want to do, or do, you know, if it's just for watching YouTube, watch YouTube 24 hours a day. That's what we want to build it for. We want to make sure it's absolutely perfect. So take into consideration now our master goal and how we build it. I'm going to step you through now how that relates back to what's under this sheet here, and then I'm going to fire this up and show you. So for this one here, we come up with the idea. Now, the idea here was we wanted a showcase PC. Now, we went around the office and went, great, what's a popular game that everybody might not play, but they all know of? What can we design that is a showcase PC that everybody can see, everybody can look at and go, wow, that's a great looking PC, that's fantastic, that's what we want in our room. Might not be the same thing, but it looks fantastic. So we decided to build the Rocket League PC. Everyone know Rocket League, everyone dream of Rocket League, everyone play it a whole lot. Anyone grand champs? Now, what we so where we started. So we sort of loop back here to the concept creation. So concept creator's job with Rocket League was, okay, what case can we use? What case can we use that will show everything that we can within Rocket League? What colour case can we use that can be manipulated with aesthetic purpose and acrylics and everything Rocket League? What is going to be big and boast what we do? From there, we selected the Leanne Lee 011 case. So reason behind Leanne Lee case is it's really good at hiding your cable management behind the case itself and shows everything inside quite nicely with 2 panels of glass and the top and back being solids, but you can actually then make it use those to your aesthetics purposes, which you'll see when I remove this one. We've then got, oh sorry, yep, go again. Yep. So then we've got the unique visual elements. So this is also the creator's job. So what they do is they basically do us up a blueprint. They go, okay, we've selected our case. It's the Leanne Lee case. How do we want it to look? They then go off with our art and visual guys. They go, okay, this is a basic case and what it looks like. They then design and create all the aesthetic purposes. So they do from custom wrap jobs to acrylic embolding to GPU backplates to filling spaces in computer cases to literally picking colours of what might go inside the PC and how that may look. They don't need to necessarily know the technical element, they just need to know what the end goal is going to look like. From there, we move into the performance specs. So this then loops back to now our tech designer. So the tech designer now gets all these aesthetics sent to him and go, this is what your case is you're going to use. What are we going to put in it? He goes through, he or she goes through and makes and decides what that PC is going to have. Now, if we loop back, that was the showcase PC. We wanted something with performance. We wanted something that was fast. We wanted something that could display everything that we possibly could in one case. We wanted it to look cool, we wanted it to be clean, and we wanted it to really demonstrate how good a PC can be from not only the visual element, but from a performance element, which you'll see when I run through in a moment what we've put in. The designer looks. So this kind of feeds back into the visual a little bit, but this is more from a performance perspective. So selecting colours of custom power cables, selecting colours that of the motherboard itself, selecting water blocks, selecting custom open loop cabling, selecting colours for the open loop liquid that goes into them, selecting RGB colours for RGB fans, or what type of fans are going to go into it as well. Like there's probably 10 different brands just under Corsair that will light up, but is it the right light for what we're trying to do? Because obviously we'll link it back to the showcase display PC. And then obviously out of there, what we end up with is, once it's all assembled and completed, we end up with our finished product. So when it moves now from the technical element, moves to the builder basically assembles. The builder makes sure that it's all completed and that everything was up to scratch, reflecting on aesthetic purposes, reflecting on the performance specs, and making sure that they take their time. The biggest one with building a PC, gaming PC especially, is take your time. It's an enjoyable moment, and the quicker you rush through it, because we all love to game, we all want to get onto it, we all want to play as quick as we can, mistakes are made. That's the biggest thing. Take your time, it's an enjoyable experience, and the bonus you have with doing it that way is if something does go wrong, or you want to upgrade a bit more memory into it, or RAM, or put a bigger hard drive in, you know what you're already doing. You don't have to take it down to the computer shop, lose it for a couple of days while they do that. Do it yourself. You just need to understand what actually happens inside it. So, obviously we've got the Rocket League PC build, all our design elements and all our tech specs. Go to the next one. All right, so the build itself. In this particular build, we have an i9 processor on an X570 motherboard on it. We have a 1TB M2 SSD. So M2 is the little chip that plugs into the motherboard itself. So you've got 3 different types of hard drives. You've got M2, you've got SSD, and you've got the original HDD, which is obviously still the spinning discs as well. M2 being the fastest hard drive on the market, which can obviously plug directly into the board. We have the 3070 RTX ROG Strix in this PC with water cooling on as well, open loop water cooling. So it obviously runs the fluid through to keep it nice and cool. We have 32 gig of DDR4 installed in this as well. This is the Corsair Vengeance RAM, so it is the multicoloured flashing lights RAM that goes in this. We have 6 RGB fans that are dual lighting loops, so basically light from the inside and from the outside in it. They're the Corsair ones. We have a full custom water loop in it as well. So water loop, I don't know if you guys know too much about open loops. Basically, it's a distribution plate that feeds the rest of the PC, so it cools from CPU to GPU, filters back through 2 radiators as well, and basically cools in and out, coming back into the distribution plate. Really cool setup. Custom cable mods. So the custom cable mods for this build was a nice blue aesthetic that we tried to go for. So the 2 primary colours we've sort of tried to go for is the orange and blue. As the orange and blue create the create that Rocket League themed PC, because it does have the two cars basically. And then obviously we've got the extra large chassis, which has now been customised as well to cater for the Rocket League experience that we want you guys to see today. Go next one. Just flip to the next one. All right, so what we'll do...
Yeah, it's not plugged in.
Oh. So the end result of everything we've talked about. Do you have any questions or anything before I show you what the build is?
Why are you sweating?
Hey,
Why are
it's
you
hot in
sweating?
here.
Well, definitely funny.
Any other questions?
How long did it take you?
For this build, or
Yeah.
just for in general?
And overall build?
So depending on the complexity of the build is how long it's sort of based on. So something like this that's open loop and having to build and create, a lot of the heating of the pipes and bending them into position and getting that part right takes a lot longer than doing, you know, a already pre-manufactured cooling loop that may already go into the PC itself. So it can range from a couple of hours to build a custom PC to 5-6 hours, depending on what goes into it as such. You'll see from in a moment. So this is what our PC ends up like from a custom perspective.
Why is it like juice?
Sorry?
Why is it like juice?
Looks like juice. So that's the coolant that runs through. So that coolant is like, think about a radiator in a car. It needs that coolant to run through to keep the engine running at a temperature. What this one does, it works very similar. It filters through and keeps CPU and the GPU and everything cool in between.
Would we be able to drink it?
No. You can definitely try it if you like. I don't know what the outcome would be. Did you have any questions? Anything relating to the Rocket League PC? Any questions in general? If you want to flick to the next tab just for me. Anything to do with the custom PC builds, but that you can feel free to ask.
What does the binary say?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you, to be honest. Well, I'll make it up, 1,000 and something. Sorry?
Binary doesn't have 2s in it. It's 2 at the end.
Yeah, that's why the question mark's there. Maybe it's the next level of wondering. AI.
The binary
I don't know what
advanced.
the don'ts are.
The don'ts. So the do's and don'ts, the reason we sort of put that on there is the biggest thing I can give you is through COVID, which was, you know, obviously the quiet period, we had so many people that bought hardware online. They went, I'm going to build a gaming PC. I want to build a gaming PC. It's just like Lego. It'll just assemble. We had, I reckon for 2 weeks straight, it would have been 20 people that bought in these big pile of hardware, and they went, can you put this together? We bought it because we were in lockdown. We wanted a gaming PC. They had no idea actually how detailed and how hard it is to actually assemble. The reason I say do's and don'ts is because a lot of people go off on their own tangent and they buy the products. Now, one customer we had came in and they had bought an AMD Ryzen CPU on an Intel motherboard. They're not compatible. So where I head with the do's and don'ts is don't always just jump in. Don't always think that this is a great price, this is a good buy that, buy this, it'll all just click together and work. come and talk to us. We're happy just to even talk about it. You bring in a list and go, Nick, I've got a build that I've done through wherever it might be. Will this actually work? That's what we're there for. We can help educate and say, look, yeah, no, this is great, but have you thought about how your airflow is going to look? Have you thought about that you actually don't have enough fans to cool the PC? Big one. People build the PC, leave the original case fan on, and that might be one fan. It might not be enough to actually drag the heat out of the PC, especially when you've got the 4000 series when they come out that are going to pump out a whole lot of heat. You've got a power supply pumping out heat. You've got a CPU pumping out heat. With any PC, you're looking for the quickest way to dissipate that heat. A lot of people don't sort of take that into consideration. So the do's and don'ts fall under the category of talk. Talk about what you want to do. Talk about how you can get to the point you want to get to. We're always happy to educate. We're happy to help build PCs. But we just want you to get it right. We want you to feel comfortable in what you're buying. Anyone else for any questions?
Can I learn how to do this as a job?
Absolutely can. Absolutely. And the funny thing with PC gaming, custom computer gaming, there's no real qualification for it. So as far as, yep, you need to know a little bit about IT. Everybody sort of does already. It's about wanting to create something that is visually appealing. And like our visual guys that we have on the creators team, they don't know a whole heap about PCs, but they know what looks good. Our tech guys, they know a whole lot about tech, but if you said, hey, how do you think this pattern would go on the front of the PC? They would go, I don't know, is it blocking out my CPU? That's the difference between our roles. So you don't actually need to be the greatest of PC assemblers. You don't need to have a master's degree. You've just got to have a passion and have that interest to be able to do what we do here.
Can I work with you? I would like to work there.
Look, in saying that, we do have some school students that do come through, do a bit of placement with us, and we do custom builds with them. They can actually see how it is from start to finish. They can basically build a whole PC right there on the desk. We don't do it for you, we guide you through it, making sure that the mistakes aren't made and that you actually see how and what and who the PC parts go into. And then the knowledge you can take away from that is you actually have the basic understandings of how that works.
Are you actually hiring though?
Look, maybe once you get through your schooling component, we could probably talk a bit further.
How heavy is it? Yeah.
This PC?
Yeah.
It is pretty heavy, this one. So the water, once the coolant and things through it, the amount of hardware and stuff in this one, it does get pretty heavy. Not all
Are you
PCs.
able to pick it up?
Sorry?
Are you able to pick it up?
Yeah, well, yeah, I carried it in here. Can't have a forklift for that one. But no, it's, yeah, look, they can get heavy, they can stay light. It depends on really what you put in. But if you take into consideration that whole distribution plate at the front is full of coolant, plus your radiator, top and bottom are full of coolant, and then your GPU, it adds a fair bit of weight to the actual product. Well, there's 2 litres of coolant just in that.
If you wanted to move it around, would you have to empty it first?
No, not for moving. You can transport it. You've got to be super careful. Don't get me wrong, you couldn't go drive over the potholes like we've got in Ballarat at the moment. But you can definitely transport it. If we are transporting it in, like if we're sending them interstate, for example, what we tend to do is under each of the pipe works, we put foam blocks. The foam blocks keep them in place while they're shipped across, and then they're padded from top to bottom as well, boxed up, sealed and wrapped, and that's how they're shipped. Otherwise, with water cooling and open loop, it's a 3 to 6 month coolant change on them. So that's the big thing to keep into consideration. So you do need to drain them every 3 to 6 months, which is pretty cool anyway, because you get to change colours, or you get to things. So you got like metallics, you got blues, orange, pinks, greens, every colour you could possibly think of, you can run through this. And also you can do dual loops in them. So you can actually have, let's say the CPU is running an orange colour, then you can have your GPU running a different colour. So you can actually have 2 open loops that run.
How do I go about getting a placement?
Sorry? When you're on your free time this afternoon around lunchtime, if you want to pop upstairs, we've got some details and things upstairs. Grab a card, get the school to reach out to us, and we can work through that component. Any other questions?
So, say if I came in and asked, like, talk to you about creating a PC, how long would the whole process take from talking to you to actually getting it?
Yeah, perfect. Great question. So we usually allow half an hour to an hour for the discussion points, because what generally happens is people come in and they say, I want to do everything. Now, when they say everything, it's usually Fortnite, or it's usually Call of Duty, or it's something basic. Now that's one component of everything. So we can then customise your computer to cater for like a Call of Duty experience, but that then covers across a vast range of games, because Call of Duty is pretty graphically intensive game that requires some of the higher graphics. So from the initial discussions, usually half an hour to an hour. You then get back a quote from there. If then you're happy with that, it's usually less than a week process to actually have one of these in your gaming room at home, playing it basically.
How expensive is it to make a PC like that?
A PC like this. For this one here, it has got the extra components. So this one here would sit somewhere around that 5 to 6 mark. But in saying that, we have PCs that, you'll see them upstairs, they start at about $2,000 and go upwards from there. So it's completely customisable around budget and requirements. Some guys have, when it comes to their PC, have unlimited budgets. They just want it to be absolutely picture perfect. Others are just getting into it and going, I'm coming from PlayStation or Xbox, I want to dabble in PC, I don't even know if I'll use it longer than a week. But they tend to buy the cheaper option so that they can have a try. Every PC is upgradable, so you can always start with the very basics and work your way up to this, without a doubt. It's just a matter of getting that budget side right and making sure that you cater for what you have and what you're trying to achieve.
If someone wanted a PC on the cheaper side, what would you recommend?
I think your best option with that one is when you're at lunchtime, if you want to pop upstairs, you'll see one of our cheaper options up there, and that'll help you see what a cheaper option would look like, and then how they move up a little bit in price, but how they then start to grow from the basic to the more advanced.
Okay, thank you.
I feel like it was a little bit of a missed opportunity without adding wheels to the PC.
Well, that's true. We probably could have. maybe some octane boost and things out the back too.
Just don't forget the brakes.
Yeah, well, that's true. Any other questions? No, all good. All done.
Thanks, Nick.
No worries at all.
Can I just thank Nick for an engaging presentation and an unbelievable looking build. Will this be on display upstairs?
Yeah, we'll be.
So this will come on display upstairs during your break time, so you can do the full 360 tour. We couldn't quite get a big enough lazy Susan to do the turning on the stage, but it is quite an impressive piece of equipment. And certainly from a non-gaming person, what I've learnt over the last few days is not just the fact that, you know, the industry that surrounds gaming is one of the biggest industries in the world now. It's billions and billions of dollars worth of jobs and income for people all around the world. You don't need to be in a particular place to be in the development side of it. But importantly, Nick, how many staff do you have through your organisation?
So at the moment, we've got between 30 and 40 staff here.
So we've got a business here in Ballarat, and that's just one of the businesses that operates providing support around the whole industry. 30 to 40 places, opportunities for work experience and opportunities for careers right here as well. So
absolutely
amazing to hear all of that, and thanks to you and your team for being here. And if you've got any specific questions for Nick or the team, then you'll get the opportunity to ask them during your free play times today.
We've also got a really cool racing simulator upstairs as well.
Can we play it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure can.
Can you play Rocket League on it?
That's what they need.
Mario Kart or Assetto.
That's what they need. Is they need
Control for Rocket League.
There is a Rocket League set up there on the screen as well.
Does it have F1 2022?
Sorry?
Does it have F1 2022?
Upstairs, can you get them?
Does it have, sorry?
F1 2022.
Nah, but I can put you in an F1 car. One Intercenter. All right, thank you.
Thanks for